Okay. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jules, and I'm designing an entire theme park that's based on legends and folklore that make up the United States of America. And I'm calling it Urban Legends America. I'm so excited for today's video because I'm actually tackling the design of my theme park's mascot. My vision for today is I want to make a character that can really represent the park as a whole. I didn't want to pick a cryptid or a legend and use that as the face, so I basically want to make an original character. And with all that being said, let's get into the drawing process, and I'll introduce you to Urban Legends America's mascot, Patchwick. Alrighty, let's get into this. I'm drawing inspiration from the old legend behind the jack-o'-lanterns, and I'll share that story later if you're not familiar with it. I've also always loved the cozy yet eerie aesthetic of Over the Garden Wall, especially the Pottsfield people and the mysterious autumnal world they inhabit. On top of that, I want to weave in a touch of classic fantasy charm, the kind of creature you would expect to meet on a crisp October night. This character will not only embody the spirit of folklore, the kind of tales passed down around the campfires, but also represent the magic of autumn itself. Since the park leans heavily into a Halloween vibe, he'll be a seasonal figure, full of mystery and warmth in equal measure. I started with the name because I already had a strong visual in mind. After experimenting, I landed on Patchwick. It's playful, but it carries a whimsical storybook feel. It even reminds me of Pickwick from The Haunted Mansion. This is the ghost that's hanging from the chandelier in the ballroom scene. From the look, I'm focusing on a few key elements. A pumpkin head as a nod to the jack-o'-lantern roots, a lantern for guiding lost wanderers or luring them. A glowing lantern is always going to be in hand, and it's light, it's warm, amber orange, and it's never harsh. A patchwork cloak made of countless hand-sewn patches. This will give him a traveler's charm. Each patch is different. Some are floral, some burlap, some patterned with symbols, others are faded into nothing. So he comes off more as a very old spirit who wanders the park acting as a gentle guide, not only for guests but also for the other strange residents of the park. A flickering lantern in the fog, neither alive nor dead, a keeper of stories and a watcher of wayward souls. Before we dive back into the shadows of tonight's tale, I wanted to shine my lantern on the amazing folks keeping this campfire lit, my Patreon supporters. Your support helps me brew up more stories, art, and strange little creatures, and I can't thank you enough for making it possible. The campfire is always brighter with more souls gathered round. Over on my Patreon, there's more than just stories. You'll find early access, work in progress, and a few little treats I only share with those who wander in. But for now, let's throw another log on the fire and step back into this story. They say long ago in Ireland there was a man named Stingy Jack. Mean, sly, and full of tricks. One night, Jack met the devil himself, come to claim his soul. But Jack wasn't ready to go. He tricked the devil into turning into a coin, then trapped him with a cross in his pocket. The devil had to bargain for freedom, promising not to bother Jack for 10 years. When those years finally passed, the devil returned, but Jack fooled him once again, trapping him in a tree, making him swear never to take his soul at all. Years later, Jack died. Heaven wouldn't take him, he'd been too wicked. Hell wouldn't either because of the deal. The devil, half amused, tossed Jack a burning coal from the fires below. Jack hollowed out a turnip, put the coal inside, and began wandering the earth forever, searching for a place to rest. After Jack was cursed to wander forever, folks in Ireland didn't want his spirit, or any ghost for that matter, coming near their homes. So on Halloween night, when the veil between worlds is thin, they'd carve scary faces into turnips and rutabagas, set a candle inside, and leave them at the door to scare spirits away. When the Irish came to America, they found something bigger, brighter, and perfect for carving: pumpkins. And that's how the jack-o'-lantern we know today came to be. So you can see how this story in itself really is the basis of Patchwick. It's actually super close, but I wanted him to be more of a wise, gentle, and powerful spirit, not a mischievous or malevolent one. Just a reminder that if you're liking today's video, please consider giving it a like or even subscribing. Thank you so much. Now we can get into the tale of Patchwick. They say Patrick wasn't born like you or me. He is sewn from old stories, a creature who stitched himself a soul, put together by the many tales that have been shared over the centuries. Each patch on his cloak, a story someone has shared. When the last leaf falls and the sun sinks early, Patchwick rises. With his lantern lit, he wanders the hollow paths of the park, not searching, but collecting. Not souls, not bones, stories. A patchwork of folklore, a spirit of tradition, a friend to the things that hide in the shadows. If you see him, don't run. Offer him a story, and he'll offer you safe passage through the changing season. For autumn is not the end, it's the great in-between. And Patchwick, he's its keeper. This was a lot of fun for a few reasons, really. I really do like drawing characters and people and stuff like that. That's basically my comfort zone. So this was kind of a way to do something kind of relaxing for myself, but also something that I've been meaning to design and technically redesign for a very, very long time. Patchwick technically is a newer name and a newer design from when I first started this project. Before, I did have like a pumpkin man-esque design, and he was actually kind of seen in multiple parts of my project early on because it connected a lot to like my classes and redesigning other projects. So I made this pumpkin man along with actually a pumpkin woman, and they were kind of these pair that were gonna be on like packaging and fabric. So he was more not as like in depth of a character. I knew that when I really wanted him to be part of the park, I kind of had to change him up a little bit. And a big part of that was prior to is he was more in like colonial garb. So if you think of like Sleepy Hollow and stuff like that, he was in more of that. But I wanted to age him, and it really didn't really make sense to make him in these clothes because it dates him rather than making him more of a fantastical character that gives more of an impression that he's older and much older than, you know, maybe even the land, you know what I mean? I really liked making more of a organic type of creature over like buildings and architecture and stuff like that when I usually do my concept work, because when you draw architecture and buildings and landscapes wrong, you can pick up on it really, really quickly. Whereas when you draw people and things, sometimes organic things are inherently imperfect. So you kind of have this freedom to mess up a little bit. And sometimes you can pick up on it, sometimes you can't. But I think it just allows for a little more, for mistakes to happen, and just kind of be a little more free flowing. The brainstorming part of this was really fun too, because, you know, again, you're kind of just like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And because I had this like idea already in my mind, I didn't really have a lot of problems bringing him to life, so to say. I already knew that he wanted to be this figure that walks around in the park, and is separated from the rest of, like, the cryptids and the legends that are actually, or I should say, inhabit the park. And like I said at the beginning of the video, he's just a way that I'm allowed to have some, like, creative liberties, because again, the park in itself and the legends, I wanted to make sure they're very close to what has been recited multiple times, or that people know the story. So again, like, as like Mothman as a example, like, everybody kind of knows what the creature looks like, everybody kind of knows the story, so you don't really have a lot to go against. Like, yes, you can kind of give a general look to him, but overall you need to be able to match that story as much as possible so that it's recognizable to the audience. Whereas when you have something that is an original character, you're allowed to have some more creative liberties, that he can be whatever you in your head can be, and almost in itself, he becomes a legend within the actual park. Okay, and so I think he came out actually really, really cute. So as much as, you know, he might come off as cute, I still want him to be somewhat of a lumbering character, an older character, a wiser character. But I think he works. I really like the way that I drew him. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. Alrighty, and with that, today's video comes to an end. If you like the music in today's video, I highly suggest that you check out the app Synthetic Orchestra. Their work, along with a little more from me, will be in the description below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.